Integral to soul care is the idea of rest. Rest. We don't like to rest, though. But it is important for us to rest if we're going to care for our souls. Now, we've been encouraged to rest from the very beginning. When you read in the very first book of the Bible, you read that God created everything. And then on the seventh day, he rested. Then the children of Israel, several hundred years later, were in captivity in Egypt for 400 years. They never got a vacation. They never had a day off. One of the first things that God said, and he wrote it into the very fabric of the law of Moses in Exodus 20, is on the seventh day, you rest. Shabbat. Cease work. I believe this is the single most violated commandment in all of the Bible by ministers. We will sometimes say, well, I'm getting better. You know, this is a difficult season. COVID-19, the pandemic. It's just a crazy, crazy time right now, but I'm getting better at taking Sabbath. You know, we give ourselves a pass on Sabbath keeping. We would never give ourselves a pass on murder or stealing or adultery. We should not give ourselves a pass on Sabbath keeping. It is so important that the scriptures teach us that Jesus would go to the synagogue as was his custom. Jesus practiced Sabbath keeping. Now, why in the world would the God who spoke the worlds into existence need to take a rest? Is it because he's tuckered out? I don't think so. You know, when I was a young father, my 3 young sons, they would need to take some rest. We called it taking a nap. And so often it would come to me to get them to take a nap because everybody's better off when they're taking a nap. And so I would send them into their room and I would go in there and read a story to them, and then I would kind of firmly say, now, boys, lay your head down on that pillow, close your eyes, and take a nap. And you think that worked? Didn't work so well. I would walk out, and then I could hear them in there, you know, having sword fights or whatever, bothering each other. And I go back in, I get a little firmer, and that didn't help. And finally, you know, I would threaten to take away some sort of privilege, and that didn't work, so I gave them some Benadryl. I'm kidding. I never did that very often. No, that just didn't work. Then I became a grandfather. And when my grandchildren would come see me, again, everybody's better off when they take a nap. And so this time, though, my strategy was a little bit different. I would say to my grandchildren, 2 twin granddaughters, come in here to Grandma's bed. Let's lay down here and I'll read you a story. And do you know what happened after I read that story? Pretty soon, all 3 of us are asleep. Now, you may say, well, that's because you're an old man, and there's some truth in that. But I would also say that's wisdom. I'm showing them how to rest. That's what God did when he took a rest. The important thing to remember about Sabbath keeping is that you are doing it with your Heavenly Father. He's resting. You rest with him. And whenever you rest with him, it revitalizes your soul. It cares for your soul. And why wouldn't you want to do that? Jesus said, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I believe there's a difference between being tired and being weary. Tired is what happens when I get through splitting wood. I'm tired. Weary is a soul sickness. Weary is often me trying to achieve something out of my own strength, some favor with God or with man. And Jesus says, come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest. Now, why would he do that? Why could he say that? Because Jesus already accomplished all that needed to be accomplished. And by coming to him, I don't have to accomplish anything to gain God's favor. So when you think about it, when you practice Sabbath keeping, you're preaching the gospel to yourself. That's a good thing to do. My wife and I practice Sabbath on Saturday. Sunday's not a good day to practice Sabbath for a pastor or a minister because it's a work day. But for Lynette and I, we practice Sabbath keeping on Saturday. And we will often light a candle. And when we do that, it reminds us that by this light we see light. And it reminds us that Jesus is the light of the world and that He is present with us. And then the next question we ask ourselves is, what are we going to do today? And here's our rule. We only do what we want to do as long as we do it in the presence of our Heavenly Father. That's Shabbat. That's Sabbath keeping. Do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Unplug. Put down the phone. Put down all the digital things. And do something that you want to do in the palpable presence of God. And you will see your soul revitalize, and you'll be worth something for others on Sunday. Blessings.